Hello, friends. We're back again. We're going to talk wrestling. I know it looks weird. I know it looks weird to you, but I know that's not Tim. I know that's not Tim. In fact, I went so far as to remove all signs of Tim because he didn't want to come to work today. He was all like, I don't want to do this. I don't like wrestling anymore. I'm just bored of it. No, that's not the case. Friends, I'm very happy to announce on behalf of Tim that he and his wife had a baby yesterday, 6 o'clock p.m., a healthy boy. I can tell you that mom and baby are well. Dad is tired. Everyone's tired. Let's face it. So we send our best wishes to Tim. He's going to come back. He does still like wrestling, I promise. But, congratulations to Tim. So as I did that, I had to be like, hey, we got to find someone to talk today. I didn't want to go solo. No one likes to talk wrestling on their own. They do enough of that on Twitter. So I got our friend Cher Delaware. Cher, how are you?
I am doing well. I'm excited to be here to fill in for Tim while he's doing dad life. I know that boy baby life. I hope he gets peed on many times.
When he rewatches this, he's gonna be like, "Thanks, guys, appreciate it."
He probably already has gotten peed on if we're being honest. So
Good for him. And if you like being peed on, no, damn it. Toss us a like on this video. You know what? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're very close to 200 subs. Trying. I'd love to be there as soon as I can. Hopefully you can help us. And leave us a comment. If you're hanging out in the chat and you're live with us, welcome. Join in, pipe in, get in the conversation. And we have our Discord. Cher's even in our Discord.
I
There you
am.
go. There's a link in the video description where you can join us. Here we go. We have so much to talk about. We've got NXT last night. We had Raw a couple nights ago, which, we breezed by because Raw's not very good these days. We're going to talk a little bit about Crown Jewel just running down the card. And we'll talk about Bound for Glory real quick, and we'll do the AEW stuff. Are you ready for the mad dash Cher?
I suppose so, Joe Gacy. I suppose so.
Oh, yes. Joel Gacy in full effect last night.
That was fantastic.
Wasn't it?
It was so good.
I need your actual take on this because Tim is very 50-50 on the Joe Gacy thing. He's very 50-50 on what might happen next. What's your feeling on Joe Gacy, the character, or where it's going? What do you think?
I like it. So, hello, John Alba. I really like it though. I mean, my timeline's kind of 50-50 on it as well. Everybody either really likes it or really hates it. So there's not very many people that are just like, let it play out. Not very many of those people. But I think that it's funny. I get that he's supposed to be like the heel, but I feel like he's gonna go more into like cult territory, and I'm kind of here for it. Like, especially with scary ass Parker. What's his name now? Harlan.
Yeah,
Like,
Harlan forward roll.
yes. I think that like him like recruiting him into his little like woke cult is hilarious because like you gotta poke fun at yourself sometimes. And to be fair, a lot of white male liberals kind of act that way. So it's kind of like my timeline on Twitter sometimes. So I think that it's really funny. And I like the different characters. If he was just another guy, another white bearded guy that showed up to wrestle, everyone would be like, oh, okay, well, there's that guy. Not remember his name, not remember anything about him. I like that he has a character, whether people like the character or not. It won't be that for very long. I'm sure they'll change it in like a year, but for now, I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
And we've talked about it on our show about how NXT has almost leveled up their game in terms of character development.
Yes.
It's become very much less about the wrestling of the wrestler. It's about the wrestling of the character. And to me, that's fine. To me, that's completely understandable, especially as they want to start moving towards a developmental that promotes to a main roster product.
Yes.
We're not here to change everyone the second that they hit Raw or SmackDown. So something like this Joe Gacy character, which I agree with you, if it becomes a cult-like character, all about it. If he becomes a menacing, serial, murderous type of guy, I'm down for it. It just works.
Yes. And I think too, I loved I call this NX3 because it's actually the third incarnation. But I loved previous NXT. Like I think everyone knows that I am an Adam Cole stan. I think Johnny Gargano got really boring for me there for a while, but he's fantastic. I mean, it was about the wrestling, and none of them really had a character. Adam Cole's was like, I'm 8 foot tall and I'm an asshole, you know. But like none of them really had a character, and now they all have characters, whether they are absurd characters or not. That's what the characters were 20 years ago. Like freaking Simon Dean coming down on his Segway to the ring. Like people were absurd. And so I like the absurdity of it all. And that's what I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. It's okay. Don't watch it. But
Careful.
They are going to be absurd when they get to the main roster. So why not go ahead and make them absurd now? Because the people that don't have a whole character on the main roster are people like Ricochet that you don't ever see.
I had asked on Twitter right after the Tony D'Angelo debut. I said, is he a meme wrestler or is he a wrestler you actually support? And I did that with a reason.
I saw it.
I wanted to have the conversation that, because people were like, why not both? And it's like, well, because I don't want you to pick both.
You have to pick one.
I want you to pick one because honestly, there are a lot of people who are like, he's just a meme wrestler. I don't care. I'm not watching. But I wanted to know how many people are going to be invested in Tony D'Angelo, the character, and how many people are just like blown away that he has been a much bigger draw. I don't want to call him a draw, but let's say just a bigger, larger than life character than the one that they presented that first week. It just caught on because it was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing if people are legitimately drawn to something or if they're legitimately like wanting to meme as much as they can to get their rocks off and have a good laugh, which is fine too. Like,
yeah,
I really just wanted to have that conversation. You can do both, I guess, but
I'm a Tony D stan.
Hell yeah.
I love Tony D. I actually had turned off NXT last night. I went to bed super early and I was like, I don't think Tony's going to be on the show. I hadn't seen anything. And then all of a sudden, my Twitter timeline is nothing but the hands. Suge, Pineapple Pete had them. Cesaro had posted it. Like everybody on my timeline. So I turned it back on. Everybody's like, it's Tony time. Like nobody cares about anything else happening. And he has leaned so heavily into it. It is so funny to me. He's doing such a great job. And I know that there's people that don't like him too. And I've had a couple of my almost full-blooded Italian friends message me and be like, I hate it. It's such a gimmick. And I'm like, that's the point. It is a gimmick. Like
if they had a wrestling rabbi on their show, can I tell you how much I'd be waving the flag for that? I would be like wanting to give pointers as to how you could be so obnoxious if you're a heel or like such a big baby face. I would love it. And I see nothing wrong with poking a little fun at this stuff.
And I'm not even like half Italian. I'm very pale, but like if you saw my father, you would understand more. But like I don't think that anyone in my family would be offended by it either because that's how you act. Like that is how they act. And you can be like, oh, it's not funny. Like, how do you know he's not Italian? How do you know he doesn't have an Italian grandfather who acts exactly that way? Like, yeah. I think it's funny. I see Drew said that about the serial killer with the same name. Yes. So it is so similar to his name. I live in Illinois. John Wayne Gacy, like the Joe and John, I called him John Gacy for like the first 2 weeks. I'm like, I've got to stop calling him this. But yes, I think the name is perfect for Joe Gacy too. I think that's great.
And it crosses over from what he did in his days in CZW. There was a serial killer gimmick for him too. I think a lot of people are going to see something that fans of Gacy have already seen if they followed him over from CZW, but there's a huge number of people who are going to see him in a completely different light. And I'm fine with that. If it works, if that gimmick works, get it over.
Yeah,
That's what
I agree. I agree.
speaking of Tony D, yes, he did win a match in about a minute. It took out Roof Fang, who's what's his name? Facialing Wang, I think was his name. He's a Performance Center recruit recently. Good, yeah. Good. Listen, a good match. I think that's the one thing about Tony that a lot of people didn't know what to expect was how he would wrestle.
Yes.
And when he showed out to be a good wrestler, that changed a lot of minds. It was suddenly the character and the wrestling was there. I like that. I need that. If you're just going to be like, so here's another person that we're going to do. Lash Legend's another one that's very polarizing. Some people absolutely love Lash Legend. They love what she's doing so far. Some people are not big fans of it. Sure, I get why not. I want to see what happens when she gets in the ring and wrestles because she's going to have to do that eventually.
I agree.
And if she has been pumped up as much as Tony D, then I need her to do what Tony did, which is notice it and adapt to it and become a good wrestler. She's going to have to basically live up to expectations.
And I saw, like, before Tony's first match, there was a lot of people that were like, he might be awful in the ring, and I'm still going to be like, yeah, Tony. Like, but he wasn't. He lived up to what the expectations that people had set for him, and people love him. I mean, you know, NXT is different. It's just not the NXT that we knew, and you gotta deal with it. So
I think it's something that most, not just wrestling fans, but a lot of people in general, when change comes, it's a little bit tougher to swallow, and when it's forced and it's so different, it's going to take a little bit of time. I think this week was probably the first like balanced week for NXT in the 2.0 range. I don't know about you, but like I liked this episode better than I have any of the others so far.
Right. Yeah, I finished watching this morning and I did like it more. Some of the stuff felt a little bit weird, but like the triple threat women's, they had to adapt to what had happened and everything. So, I mean, good for those girls for adapting to that. She does not need to be ever attempting to do that again. She shouldn't have attempted to do that to begin with. I don't know if that was a call on the fly and her just being like, oh, I'm going to do this, or if they had that planned out, but that was not a good idea.
I don't know. I was looking at that. Sorry, when I saw it live, I think she's done it before. I just think she got caught in the ropes. It looks
I went back and recorded it to send it to a couple people who obviously were on planes and couldn't watch it. And they were like, that is really bad. And I was like, yeah, it was pretty scary there for a minute. But I hate the wheel gimmick for what's the show called?
Halloween Havoc?
Yes, I hate it. I think it's so stupid.
So what I don't like was that this match was to spin the wheel, which is still a game of chance. So why did I win a match just to have a chance at chance? Like, what is this? It felt very just, it felt silly is what it was. It didn't really work for me. JC Jane, I mean, I hope she's clear. I hope she's okay. I hope everything's fine. That was a brutal faceplant for her. But you know what? EO and Persia did their best. It kind of sucked because it like during they'd had a picture in picture, which makes it even worse because they had to show you just about everything that was going on as EO was like walking Persia around, doing a walk and brawl and trying to explain to her what the spots are going to be moving forward.
And I understand that is what NXT is now, is you're going to have someone like EO, who is the veteran, in there with the people that don't have as much experience. But, like, EO doesn't speak very much English.
Yeah.
So it's really hard when something like that happens for her then to have to lead someone through the rest of the match because she's basically just putting you in your spots and doing things. I mean, it was a difficult spot to put her in. And like I said, they did their best. It wasn't bad. They did their best to get through the rest of the match and everything. But yeah, that was...
It was tough, but you know what? We know now it's going to be, what is it? It's a ladder match, triple threat for the women's tag titles. I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. The last time that they did Halloween Havoc, they did a tables, ladders, and scares match, and that was Io versus Candice.
And that's
That
when
was
Candice
also
went through the ladder on the outside. Yeah.
Yep, and that's when Indy made her unofficial debut. They didn't unmask her that
Mhm.
time, but Indy has a little bit of a history with Halloween
Yep.
Havoc. Do you think it's their time? Is it Indy and Persia's time to win, or is it going to be Toxic Attraction? Is it going to be a retaining situation for Io and Stark? What do you think?
I don't honestly, I don't think that they know. If we're being fair, they I, I hate the women's tag titles, and it should
On
just be
both brands.
yes, there should just be one set. It should be able to go across all 3 brands. I understand why they separated them because they were still trying to keep NXT and the main roster apart because NXT was COVID central. But um, I just hate it. They don't know what they're doing. They keep throwing tag teams together, and it's just like I said, I don't think that they know what they're doing. I think it's going to be like okay, well, I guess they'll win. And nobody really cares who wins. Nobody really cares about any of these thrown together teams. Like, I mean, if it was Indy and Candice, I would 100% be like Indy and Candice, but Candice is gone, and Indy's really just not ready to be a singles wrestler yet.
Mhm.
So they're putting her in there with other people, but it's like, mm, I'm not real big on this team. So,
On Persia and Indy.
yeah, it's like,
They threw them together. They just kind of introduced Persia as like, here's my bestie, and you're like, why have we ever seen her before?
yeah, like they could have introduced her when Candace told them she was pregnant and been like, okay, this is who we're gonna put Indy with now, and like had her, like at their house, like kikiing with Indy and stuff, like
Yes.
introduce her slowly into things instead of just being like, here, we're backstage, we're best friends. Now we're a tag team.
And
Like,
it was the whole thing was like at the bachelorette party. That's where they introduced her, and
yeah.
it made no sense. I agree with you. I don't think it's Indy and Persia. I would love to see Toxic Attraction in this case, but after what happened with JC, again, if she's cleared, great. If they have Gigi Dolan go in and do it all by herself, I don't. It's going to be the strangest thing. Or you can have Mandy Rose pull double duty. I don't think they want to do it, especially because Mandy Rose isn't Adam Cole. We'll put it like that. And Cole did that years ago. So I'm a little concerned if they want to have that go to that way.
I don't know if I want to say anything about Mandy Rose right now.
That's fair. There's a lot of people talking about Mandy Rose right now. Instead, you know what? We were talking about wheels. Johnny Gargano is back. We talked about Candice, talked about Indy. Johnny's back.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels' favorite wrestler 1.0
Yeah.
is going to take on Shawn Michaels' favorite wrestler 2.0. How do you feel about Mello? How do you feel about Johnny Gargano and their interaction at the start of the show?
So I like Carmelo. And what's the guy he's with? What's his name?
Trick Williams.
Yes, I'm really bad at names. I like them together. I think that they play well off of each other and everything. I didn't expect Johnny to be the one that came out, really. I mean, like when I saw, and I had it on mute actually when it happened, and so I wasn't really like listening to them. Obviously, I had captions on, but we were doing homework, so I was reading part of it, and then when the thing came up, I didn't know who it was because I don't know most of their Titantrons, and so I was like, "Who is that?" And then I was like, "Johnny!" Like I was so stoked for him because I kind of thought that Johnny was just gonna not be seen again. If we're being fair, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they're trying to get him to resign. I would try to get him to resign, but I kind of thought that it was going to be a situation like how they do with a lot of people, where when their contract is getting ready to be up, you just don't see them again.
Yep. I
And
was in the same boat as
yeah,
you.
and when he showed up, I was stoked. And then I I was like, it feels weird seeing Johnny come out by himself because we haven't seen Johnny come out by himself in so long. And then Dexter popping up and everything. I liked the interaction. I think it's going to be a fantastic match. Like I said before, Johnny got really boring for me there for a while because they just kept putting him against Cole Champa, but like he's great. He's fantastic in the ring. It's going to be a great match. And I liked like the little interactions between um, Loomis and Johnny there at the end, like when they were looking for their title and it was in the ring and Loomis went up there and like turned around and smiled, gave Johnny the thumbs up, and everything. Like I liked that little interaction. I think Johnny's great. And Johnny posted something on Twitter about Rebel Heart. And I really want him to come back out to Rebel Heart again because I love Rebel Heart. So yeah, pretty excited for that. So
What's
we shall see.
what do you think of the possibility, because it's November and because it's brand supremacy month, of them and also reintroducing Johnny Gargano 1.0? What do you think the odds are that they'll put together a little team ski and do a 1.0, 2.0 Survivor Series brand supremacy style match?
So I saw your tweet. um, I don't know that they would because if Ciampa wasn't the champion, then maybe. But I don't see Ciampa losing it. So, I mean, like, when I think of previous NXT, Adam Cole, not going to be there. Gargano, Ciampa's the champion. So, like, that seems like it would give 1.0 like an advantage because, they've got the world champion on their side. But, like, who else?
I think
Yes, I agree, JJ. But like, who else is there now? You know what I mean? Like, everyone else, Samoa Joe, he's apparently hurt again. He was cleared for 13 and a half seconds. Like,
don't get me started on that. It was a
I,
whole
I mean, Finn is back on main roster now, so there's just not really. We gonna bring back Bo Dallas? Like,
nope, he's too busy cooking.
he's farming. Like,
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
I mean, they're just. I don't know that they have the people to be able to do it anymore.
It's true. There aren't a lot. I'm sure you could scrape together. It wouldn't look great. You can do what? Imperium would have to coexist with Dexter and Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
And then you could maybe add a fifth. There aren't a lot. It's true. Cool Kyle, Roderick Strong. I do want to talk about Cool Kyle. This goes back to the 1.0, 2.0 character gimmick, where you and I talked about you need a new gimmick, you need something to get you over. And God, they're trying with Kyle. Kyle is just a great wrestler, but they're not finding. They think Von Wagner is going to bring something out of him that he doesn't have already inside of him.
I love Kyle O'Reilly. I think most people know this. If I had like Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole broke my poor little heart. Like, I love Kyle. Kyle and Cole were my favorite ones from Undisputed Era. Roddy's all right, but Roddy talks like he's a Valley girl, so it bothers me. That's why I'm glad he has Malcolm Bivens now. But new Kyle is awful. I can't stand new Kyle. Like, I don't even enjoy. I mean, in the ring he's fine because he's the same that he was before, but I don't enjoy watching any of his promos, or I just don't enjoy it at all. And I see JJ said Rod Strong. Roddy's got his own thing though. Like, he's got the whole Diamond Mine, Malcolm Bivens, like they are a unit. So I don't think pulling him from that to be a part of another team would be very smart. So they'll probably do it. But
no. I think of all the 2.0 teams, Roderick Strong was the smartest one in here. Like he's the only one who can continue to be a wrestler in 2.0. And that's because they made an entire gimmick out of it. They made an entire group out of it. And that works.
Yes.
And then they put him with Bivens, who's an excellent talker and is the only person
who's amazing.
Yeah, he's the only person who was going to make that work in the way that they promote NXT 2.0.
Yes. In this house, we stand Malcolm Bivens, the tall king. So
I feel like many of us will join you in that.
Yeah, I love Malcolm Bivens. He's hilarious. Probably my favorite Twitter follow too. So
so stupidly funny. I love it.
So funny.
Before we move on to Raw, which I know it's Raw, whatever. I do want to touch on Cora Jade, Elektra Lopez / Legado del Fantasma. So Cora Jade comes in. She is the hot new acquisition. She's very young, and she's getting these wins, albeit very
Yeah.
fluky. By the way, Frankie Monet might show up again at one point. Who knows? And then we got Electra Lopez with Legado del Fantasma. Personally, I am a Stantasma. That is my thing.
I like them.
Yeah, and we had a very quick match. But what I like about it is that it got Cora Jade further over with what she's doing, being the young upstart who's getting these fluke wins, yes. But it made Legado del Fantasma stronger afterwards when they had them taking out Trey Baxter, and then they had Legado getting in on that, and Briggs and Jensen getting involved in the mix.
Yeah, they jumped their ass.
Yeah, they did. And I like that they're finding ways to at least find a different way to get all these people over without getting them all, DQ'd or non-finished matches.
Right. So you witnessed my meltdown a couple weeks ago about Cora Jade's music. I still haven't figured out what that song was. I was singing it on my voice tweets on Twitter because I couldn't figure out what the song was. So when like I said, I'm bad with names, but when Legado del Fantasma was out there and she started speaking, and as soon as her music hit, right then, I don't even think she said anything, and her music hit, and I was like, oh no, because I couldn't think immediately that song. So the whole match is just me trying to figure out what the song was. So I mean, it wasn't very long anyway, but that was just me trying to figure out what the song was the entire time. But I do like this story of, I like that she is the new girl that doesn't have 15 other new girlfriends too.
Yes.
Because there's so many of them, and I don't know what any of their names are, and they're all friends.
And they all just hang out together.
Yes. And so I'm like, I can't differentiate any of them. And I like that she is not with 3 or 4 other new girls too. I like that she rides she has like a mini skateboard. It's not even like a full skateboard. It's like this big. Looks like if I bought Reed a skateboard. She rides it down to the ring and everything. Like, I like it. Yeah. I like her. I like I said, Legado del Fantasma, fantastic. I really kind of thought that they would get the call up.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't, just because they called up help me out here.
Hit Row.
Hold
on. You got to do it right. Hit Row. You got to do it with like the kids do it.
I will absolutely not do that. But I kind of thought that they would get the call up too, but I understand they didn't because they just formed Hit Row. I guess Phantasma's been around for a little bit longer. So you can't call up all of their groups.
No,
you can't call them up all at once.
Yes.
And I think that they will be the next to get the call up, but I just don't think I think that Diamond Mine should honestly stay in NXT and rotate people out. Like, okay, this person gets called up to the main roster, Bivens has recruited someone else. Like, he always has people coming in and out of the Diamond Mine. And I don't know.
Before we move on, next week we've got Halloween Havoc and the big main event, because it all comes together, because can they coexist is the theme of this week in WWE. So I want to bring on a friend, your friend. She was supposed to be packing, but instead, hello, Kate. How are you?
This is going to be so much more fun than packing. So thanks for having me on. It's another reason to procrastinate.
So we had the main event of NXT this week. We had Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker trying to coexist. I can't do it all day. It hurts my brain. And they were taking on the team of grizzled young veterans. Now, first of all, were we surprised that they were able to somewhat coexist? Cher?
No.
Why?
First
Why
off,
not?
I'm a Braun Breaker stan, and he's going to be world champion like next year. So, and Ciampa is 800 years old. He should be able to coexist with people at this point. So, no, wasn't surprised. I hate Can They Coexist. I laughed. We're going to go to Raw here in a minute, but I laughed on Monday when Big E was like, you think we can coexist? Like he was poking fun at it backstage when he was talking to Drew. Like, I hate that. It's so stupid. Just stop talking about Can They Coexist. If they wouldn't say Can They Coexist so many times, it wouldn't bother me so much either. Like, just put them together, do the match, whatever. It's his. I know that you want his name to be Rex Steiner, but that's not his name. So I'm gonna call him Braun Breaker because that's his name. Like he should be Rex Steiner. When they call him up, maybe he'll be Rex Steiner. We'll see. But
Kate, thoughts on coexistence and main event on NXT?
I'm so glad that I had therapy on Sour Graps so that I can be happier on this show because all the rage is like a little bit exercised out of me at least. There was actually, I'm over coexisting, especially in an environment where your job is to fight each other. I think it's a stupid trope to begin with, based on the fact that the whole thing with wrestling is you're supposed to buy in to the fact that everybody beats up their employees and nobody gets fired for it. So it's a tough one to buy into. And now that they've beat it into the ground, it's exhausted. What I did like about this was there was a spot where Braun Breaker went to take a swing at Ciampa and he moved out of the way and he decked his opponent. And they don't do that often. And I loved that because it showed that Breaker was intending to hit Ciampa and that Ciampa, who timed it perfectly, because that looks real cheesy if you do it wrong, moved out of the way and was like, turns out we're coexisting even when we don't want to be. So, and as insulting as that trope is to fans and wrestlers, at least in this promo, Breaker was like, yeah, we beat this to death, huh? And Ciampa was like, yeah, and you already showed me last week that you can't. Like, they were smart about it. So I did appreciate that they at least built on that. But no, it's not entertaining. Like, there's nothing entertaining about this.
No.
And people will come at me with the like, well, it's sports entertainment and not pro wrestling over at WWE. And I'm like, right, but like you still have to be entertaining. Like that, that E is still there. So I don't like it, but they at least, I thought it was executed well for the crap that they gave us, at least, which is kind of the story of WWE for me. I feel like the talent does a really good job with the chicken shit that they're given.
And if they didn't do it so often, it wouldn't be so bad. It's every time there is a title match, the week before it's either going to be a tag team match or like if they're going to put them on separate teams and make them go again, like, and they're never going to have contact in the match or something. It's the same thing every single time. That's why it's so paint by numbers. And I can pretty much tell you what is going to happen the week before any pay-per-view or Saudi show. Like,
what's cool is it makes us look like geniuses to new fans. They're like, how do they know everything? And it's like, give it 6 months, you'll catch on.
And so I've made the whole like nothing's new in wrestling, everything repeats itself. The problem is WWE does it on their same cycle every single month. So for us, it's the most frustrating thing to talk about. Can They Coexist is actually a really cool storyline when you don't do it every month. There is a way to play it out. You can do it every 6 to 8 months. You can play that story and it won't suck. But because you're doing it every single month, it loses all attraction, it loses all interest, and we all roll our eyes. And this week we saw it on TV play out exactly the way the fans have been playing it out, which is, this sucks. We're done. Like, stop doing this. We make fun of it now.
And some of these people are meant to like legitimately hate each other. So no, they're not going to be able to coexist. Like, if I hate you and I want to beat you up, then I don't want to pretend to like you to be on a team with you. Now, some of the people are just like I always say about Bryan Danielson, like, he just wants to fight everybody. He may like you, but he just wants to beat you up. So he's probably going to be able to coexist with you. But most people are, just they don't like you and they don't want to coexist with you. So why do we have to try to force, like, Randy Orton's whole freaking tag team is with someone that he doesn't want to coexist with? Like,
see, though, that's like a better example of it, though, because I feel like there's there's a tug of war there that's like a little bit
Yes.
playful, where it's like he's continually earning him over, and there's depth to that story. To Joel's
Yes.
point, the constant play out, I think, is even worse because we also have these monthly pay-per-views that we're building to. So you don't even get the depth of a story where that trope actually works really well. Because the can they coexist thing, if you build tension in that, and it's not just like over the course of a couple weeks and over 7 hours of
Yes.
programming, that can be done really well. But those, I always feel like those work better with a longer burn, because like, yeah, you're paying me to coexist with someone I can, or I hate this person and I can't. When that gets hot shotted, it doesn't work. When that is given time to burn, that can be really great. And that is something that RK Bro, I think, is doing really well, where it was like they can't, but like this goofiness is kind of winning Orton over, and that one works for me.
And I think that part of the reason Roman is so good too is they haven't done can they coexist bullshit with Roman, because
Yes.
Roman's not going to coexist with anybody, and everybody knows he's not going to. And I think that that's like, he's been champion for like 5 minutes and they already have like his first opponent, him doing can we coexist bullshit with him. Like, come on.
As we should. That's what we do here.
Oh my gosh.
So reluctantly, we move over to Raw. Let's talk real quick. Well, let's start with King of the Ring, and then we'll talk about Queen's Crown, and then we'll cover the dregs and do the thing. I know you're excited. I'm a little down.
Shut up.
Not gonna
I
get
hate
King
you.
Jinder. I'm
I
sorry.
hate you. Why would you
My-
even speak that into existence?
Half of my August premonition is coming. We had
You're going to have
Xavier
Queen
Woods.
Dewdrop.
We're gonna have Queen Dewdrop. Xavier Woods versus, who did he take on in the semifinal versus Jinder? I'm
Balor.
sorry.
Yeah.
And now in the final, it's gonna be Balor and Xavier Woods. To the match on Raw, was there anything that was exciting to you from Xavier versus Jinder? Personally, I'll tell you, there was the Colossus that kind of like saved itself going into the ropes and leading to that rope grab.
Mhm.
That was cool to me. Anything in the physical match that really stood out to you, Kate, that you enjoyed, or was it just another match and it's King of the Ring? Who cares?
It had a clean finish, right?
It did. It
That's-
did have a clean finish.
That's
It did.
outstanding
Yeah.
in this world. So I actually thought that they had really good chemistry. Like, I can't
Mhm.
remember any specific spots, but I was entertained by the match. But you know what it was? I was distracted by the fact that I was waiting for the booking to go wrong the whole time,
Yes.
and then it didn't. So I was just like, they're gonna screw them. They're gonna. Oh, they didn't. Oh, okay, great.
That's true.
But I did feel like this was good, and I know people aren't like into Jinder, and he's not my favorite. But he's fine. Like, he's a decent
yeah.
enough worker. Like, I think, like a lot of things, maybe it wasn't like the proper build or whatever with him a lot of times, but I think he looked perfectly fine here. And Xavier Woods, I think, where I like that this tournament is at least getting to showcase what he can do as an individual performer. I think that's really wonderful, and he's
Yeah.
great. And like, for me, I would love to see Kofi have something at the same time. Like, hopefully we get
Me
King
too.
Xavier and champion Biggie, and then maybe Kofi with a mid-card title or something. I think that would be a really nice homage to the New Day as individuals. I think that could be great.
What silly thing can they just give Kofi to
The
like
24/7 title.
Rumble,
that would
Rumble
be
win.
perfect.
Give him the Rumble win.
give him the Rumble? Yeah, that
Oh.
works for me.
I mean, as
Um,
many spots as Kofi has had in the Rumble, if he does not eventually win a Rumble, I'm going to lose my mind.
He will.
Like,
The
He's
other
there
thing
for
that I
the
was
spot.
going with,
he is.
yeah, and when we were talking about the King of the Ring, and I was saying King Jinder, when they released the brackets, my whole feeling was that it was going to be Jinder and Shanky versus the New Day going into Rumble season, because that's the way the brackets pulled out. They're all going to be on SmackDown together. It would have made sense to me instead of going New Days versus Usos all over again, because that's what we're about to see again as we go into the draft, and as Crown Jewel happens and whatever, we'll run down the card shortly. That's where I saw it going. That's why I was saying King Jinder. So again, we'll see what happens once we get to SmackDown and the post Crown Jewel stuff. But let's move on. I don't want to talk about Austin Theory. We can talk. I just don't. I'm sorry. Listen,
That's fine.
They're doing stuff with him.
I
He's taking selfies.
didn't watch that, so that's okay.
And we talked about can they coexist with Big E and Drew? That's fine. They had fun with it. Just don't do it again. We're done with it, right?
I do want to say that was really weird that they had Big E do the Sacramento, wherever they were, the Don't You Dare Be Sour. He does not do that before
That's
this
right.
music. And so when he was like,
Yeah.
I got something I got to do, and did that whole thing, like it was funny that he was doing it right in Drew's face, but then they go into, y'all want to go big, then say that. And I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't make any sense right now. Like it was strange that they, and strange that they had them all on the same show again and no interaction. Like he didn't come
right.
he didn't come out when Woods like and Finn had their face off and everything. Just Kofi comes out there, and I hate that. I hate when they do that. Like they don't see each other backstage. Like it's so stupid.
Well, they can coexist, so maybe they can be friends. But yeah, this is so weird. This abiding time till the draft rules take effect thing, and having 1 foot in and 1 foot out, where people are showing up on their proper brands, but also not. It's just very odd. It kind of reminds me of right before NXT 2.0 when we had those taped episodes and you kind of knew you were just buying time until this relaunch. So
Yeah.
there was
Yes.
no consequence to anything. So that's really hard to do with a 3-hour show too, because it like already feels kind of meaningless. And now 3 hours is a lot to book.
Yes.
So that's rough. But I'm with you on that, Miss Delaware.
I don't know why they did the draft. Like if you knew you didn't want it to take place till after Crown Jewel or whatever this stupid show's called, then why not just do the draft like Friday, Monday this coming week? Like I don't understand.
They
Because you can-
moved it already, right? Wasn't that the thing? So they didn't want to do
Yes.
it again. But
But like, who cares? It's your show. You change stuff all the time.
also
I'm sure-
be better at booking then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe 3 weeks won't lag.
And they called that the Smackdown premiere when they did the draft, the first day of the draft, but the Raw premiere is not until next Monday.
So that's something I found interesting as well. But when I did a little bit of research, TV shows do have not like
Yeah.
basically like where the fall preview or premiere is like
Yeah.
the entire fall. It can go until January for Christ's sake. So I feel like they were like, all right, it doesn't matter. Just call
They
it
just-
the premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing's stupid. I agree with you. I hate this. Like, I don't remember who's on what brand at this point. Because
No.
everybody is everywhere. And I'm like, once stuff actually starts, I'm going to be like, wait, are they on this show? Are they on the other show? Like, why are some people on both shows and some people are only on the show that they've been drafted to, but they're not on the show they're still supposed to be on? Like, what's happening?
They
It's gonna
didn't
be-
have Bianca go over, so I don't know what's going on with the women's titles. And the reason it's going to get worse is we're heading into brand supremacy season for Survivor Series.
All right, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the main event, Bianca Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. A lot of feelings about that one. A match that was excellent until literally the final 30 seconds.
I liked Charlotte rolling out of the ring and yelling, shit, when she rolled out of the ring. And they muted it. That was my favorite part.
That
It
one
was
they
a really
muted.
good. It was a really good match, but yeah, I don't know.
That's the appropriate reaction. Cher's little like mini meltdown and her amazing cat ear headphones, which we're gonna talk about at some point. This was, like,
Thank you.
So I understand that people are burned out on Charlotte Flair. She is real good at this, guys. Like
I like Charlotte.
she's given so many women their best matches, and Bianca is great and still young. And there are times where when Bianca plays to her strengths, gangbusters, always a fantastic match. But sometimes those can get offset a little bit depending on who her opponent is. Charlotte is so good at being versatile and catering to her opponent's strengths. She's one of the most adaptable workers, man or woman, in this business. Like the way she can go after Charlotte, or the way Charlotte can go after Sasha, or someone like Bianca, like completely different stories, completely different ring styles, and she makes it all work. This was one of those. I thought she and Bianca had great chemistry, and I, there was such an easy way out, and that was just to have Bianca win. I didn't like that it ended in a DQ. I don't like the DQ that it ended on. I thought that was stupid. And so now we're gonna get this like NFL quarterbacks trading jersey title swap thing or something. Like I don't get this. Or what I'm really scared that they're gonna do is have a title for title match after the draft goes into effect.
Mm-hmm.
So
make it like even less consequential.
I'll tell you this. So I brought this up on Twitch, on the Fightful Twitch, with Jeremy yesterday, and I got some heat for it, but I'm going to say it here anyway. I think part of this very disappointing finish also falls a bit on Charlotte, on basically the three in the ring, the referee, Charlotte, and Bianca. Not because of the booking. I listen, dog shit finish. Do not get me wrong. Do not like it. I do not think that the time cues were hit. And when you have a time cue that is, I need a minute, a solid minute for people to be upset about it in the crowd, it sets in differently. When you hit the DQ and you go right off the air, that is what burns goodwill further.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. That's just, I'm looking at it and I'm saying something was missing. Someone was off. Someone missed a cue.
Yeah, I didn't watch the end of Raw live, as we've discussed. I go to bed at like 8 o'clock. So I didn't watch it live. So when I watched it, I didn't see the timing part of it, you know? So that is probably very true. I'm probably going to ask around about that now and see. But Raw is really bad about going heavy on segments, especially their promos in the ring. Charlotte often goes heavy, not her fault, but the crowd takes over so many of her segments. And then she just being her, like she kept telling that guy like that he sucked or whatever it was Monday when they said, she was like, I suck, you suck, sit down. Like, I mean, like hers go heavy a lot, and 30 seconds to us is okay, 30 seconds. But when you have to hit your commercial breaks, then you have to pull 30 seconds off a match and pull, you know, like they probably pulled it off the women's match because, you know, like, I mean, that's what they usually do. So they probably would have cut that whole match if they didn't have to have it for the Queen's tournament, whatever they're calling it. But yeah, that's probably part of it. But also, I hate DQ finishes.
100%.
And having the DQ finish going into, first off, Bianca having a title match going into having another title match didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I mean, whatever. If she was going to have it, she should have won. That was the only way it was going to make sense to me. I was convinced that she was going to win Monday, and then that they were going to go to this show and then announce some stupid thing, and it was going to be a title swap, and Becky take Raw and Sasha take the Smackdown and Bianca have nothing. That's really what I thought was going to happen. And so then I was like, okay, not sure what the point of that was. And as Kate said, I hate title swaps. They're stupid. Don't brand them for specific shows then. Like Roman and E could switch shows and it not be of consequence because they are still the WWE and the world. The stupid colors, whatever. Don't make them colored for the show that they're on. Don't call it the Raw Women's Championship. Like, make it a black title, or it doesn't have to be a butterfly. I mean, we don't have to have a butterfly title. Make it a black title. Call one of them the World Women's title and the other one the WWE Women's title. It, like, you book yourself into these situations. The same thing with the tag titles last year. That made me so mad because Street Profits had been champion for a long time and they were like hitting records, and then all of a sudden, oh, your title reign's over. Like,
yeah, and it made no sense. They
just handed them to each other. Like
for those two teams, it was comical. Like, people were fine to accept it. They did. Like, the people were just like, okay, it's cutesy, whatever. If you are taking care of the numbers and you are listening to that, then absolutely, it's frustrating as hell. If you are a Wikipedia updater, then my God, you lost your mind that day. But going back to swapping the title for Charlotte and let's assume Becky, I have a theory. I could be wrong because God knows it's WWE. To set up for brand supremacy, they do trade the titles, which is not good, not what we want, but it is what it is. But the story that they tell is that they're both so cocky and arrogant that they almost refuse to swap titles. And not that it becomes like a winner take all. It's still going to be one-on-one. They're going to swap titles. But the story between the two leading up to the match at Survivor Series is just going to be who is more cocky and who is more arrogant than the other. That's all. They're just going to talk shit to each other for a solid month.
So I think that they kind of got screwed on this too, because Becky wasn't supposed to be back yet.
Yes.
Becky had to come back because Sasha.
Because someone couldn't compete.
And I'm not going to say why someone couldn't compete, but I think most people know why said person couldn't compete. And Becky should have came back to Raw to begin with. She shouldn't have come back to SmackDown. She left Raw. She should have come back to Raw. Whenever she does those stupid promos where she talks about how she never lost this title, yes, you did. You lost the SmackDown title. The one you gave up was the Raw title that you gave to Asuka. So whenever she says that, I'm like, yeah, you did. You lost the SmackDown title. You were only Becky 2 belts for a very short period of time, and you lost that title. So it doesn't make any sense when they go on that they go on that trope all the time about it. But she should have come back to Raw, and it would have been much simpler if she would have come there, won the title, and then had Bianca on SmackDown and do whatever that way. But the fact that they have this storyline and then they traded them both to Raw, and we're going to continue the storyline, it's been going on since SummerSlam. SummerSlam.
So on principle, I agree with you about the branded titles, that they just shouldn't be a thing. Like, that's just weird because every other one is named after a portion of the world.
Yes.
Right? So
or the universe.
Or the universe.
So on principle, I agree with you. But do you know how bad you have to be at this that this is a problem?
Oh, yes. 100%.
It's ridiculous. That's
100%.
a consistent problem. You get to write any show you want. Sean says that all the time, and he's right. The problem, I don't need to see Charlotte and Becky talk to each other anymore about pretty much anything unless they're going on a tag run. There's just no point. They've beat it into the ground, and you have Becky coming back, and the second thing you're gonna do is put her in a program with frickin' Charlotte, like, and not Liv, not Toni Storm, not Zelina, not any of the young talent. It makes absolutely no sense. So if that is the case, I hate that. It probably is, because when Joel is right, it's usually about the worst ideas, and that's not a reflection on you. That's a reflection on them, Joel. I'm sorry.
I know, I get that. And no, I understand that. When I do it because I pick the worst for a reason. It's not always just a thing. Continue.
Yeah. But like Queen Dewdrop, you've been calling it from the frickin' beginning. Like, and that's what we're gonna get. So with an injured Eva, so that makes even less sense. But I don't know if you guys know this. The 4 horsewomen are established on the main roster. I don't know if you guys have figured that out in this process.
Never heard of them. Don't know what you're talking about. This is news to
The
me.
4 horsewomen, never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
It's so simple that you have established talent put over younger talent. Like and they just are stunting their own division here, and they are running out of ammo with a lot of this. They're just completely out of juice. So I don't know why you keep going back to an empty well and putting your future women's division in detriment. Plus,
Yes.
you want to talk about women's titles pictures, there's not a women's tag team division at all.
No.
So you have all of this going into the thing that really pisses me off about the title swap, even though it's stupid in so many ways, is that now we're going to talk about brand supremacy, and two people just willingly give up
Yes.
their titles of the brands that they're
Exactly.
on. Like, that makes the least amount of sense of anything.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I care so much about my brand, I'll just switch titles with you is absurd. Like, that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense. And like you said, they don't use these storylines to build any other women. Like, for the most part, Bianca is pretty well established now.
Yeah.
She main evented WrestleMania. She was the women's champion. Okay, one of the 4 horsewomen is out. Asuka is out. Those are the only 6 people that they currently have that anyone could possibly even believe would be the world champion. Like, Alexa right now, no. Like, she is playing with baby dolls and crying. Alexa, shut up.
That happens to me all the
That's
time.
hilarious.
All the time.
Commentary pops mine too.
Yeah.
Just by
All
saying
the
our
time.
name.
But I'm like, it's them. So who do we have? Zelina and Carmella and Liv and Doudrop and Shayna Baszler, who should be the freaking world champion. And none of them are even believable to be champion because they just beat them all the time. And at least Shayna didn't like get her butt kicked by Doudrop in that match. It was like a sneaky gotcha moment, but it was still Shayna Baszler just lost to Doudrop.
But she's also not that dumb either.
Yes.
Like, that's problematic too.
Exactly.
So
I had turned off Raw and I turned it back on right as Shayna Baszler lost that match. And I was like, and I'm done. Like,
I don't trust WWE to do this. But if the main event or one of the main events at Mania is Charlotte versus Bianca, then Bianca needs to win. And the entire story is you've never beaten Charlotte because she hasn't.
I don't think
She has
will,
never
though.
had a one-on-one singles victory over Charlotte Flair. And if the match is Bianca and Charlotte and it's for a women's title and there's huge fanfare, Bianca gets that moment. I don't trust them to do it because let's face it, they're not thinking 3 weeks ahead, 2 weeks ahead, 1 day ahead, let alone 6-7 months ahead. But that's the only story that I can tell with those two at this point because every singles match they've had has been a DQ non-finisher. Charlotte wins.
But to that point, if you're the EST and you're constantly fighting from underneath, because that was kind of the story with Sasha too, a legit boss versus this newcomer. Like, at some point, she's just got to be an established talent that wins things. But you're right, and that's the story. That's the logical story that's there would be that, because that's what they've booked themselves into. But I just mean from a character development standpoint, that sucks.
Yes. Now, also remember the last person that had the exact same type of story. He is currently the Universal Champion, and they had him go completely heel, and now he's the most over he's ever been. They do have to tread carefully because if they turn Bianca, because fans are sick of her in the same, living the same life without being an over big time champion, then yeah, they're going to have another Roman Reigns problem where she's going to come out and be like, I'm not the EST, I am the ESTest EST, and the fans will hate it.
I don't think that you can say like they turned Roman Reigns heel though, because Roman said, I'm going to be heel when I come back. He didn't exactly give them a choice, and they don't exactly have a lot to do with Roman's character.
They never do.
That's a
They never
him
do
and
with their successes. It's
yes, that's a him and Paul Heyman thing. Like,
Yeah.
Roman's current success should be credited to Roman and to Paul Heyman.
That
That's
doesn't mean there can't be a time when Bianca gets to a situation.
Oh
like
yes,
that, right?
I agree, but it shouldn't be on two people that just work there.
Oh, 100%. No questions asked on that.
the most perfectly said thing ever. It shouldn't be on two people who just work there when you have an entire creative department.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
mean,
perfectly said.
Okay.
So let's cross over. Thursday is Crown Jewel. We've got a card. I don't want to go too deep into it. I mean, listen, I want to talk about murder, but first let's talk about the Queen's Crown. I know I'm going to trigger Kate. I'm sorry.
I already brought up John Wayne Gacy, so
That's true. We've done it once before. Queen's Crown tournament final is going to be Dewdrop, Zelina Vega. How about I just ask you flat out, anything interesting in the tournament that you want from the match, or what do you, and your prediction? Kate, I'll start with you. Dewdrop, Zelina, what do you expect?
I expect Dewdrop to win. I expect it maybe to go like 6 whole minutes or something crazy.
4. I got 4 on
You're
it.
going 4?
Yeah.
That's probably more realistic. Here's what I would actually like to happen if you are going to crown Queen Dewdrop. I want her to say, "My name is Piper Niven," and I want her to grow into something different than what she was doing with Eva Marie, because Eva's out anyway. So I think it would be really cool if she was like, "I'm a queen now," and if
Queen Piper.
If she took this moment back to reestablish herself as a top talent in the company, that could be fantastic.
If they use this,
really
yes. If they
But
use this to
who
make her something that is not all the time, then I'll be like, cool. Like,
Yeah, it's all for,
when
it's
she
for
comes
kids.
down to the ring and looks at people and goes like this, I'm like, what's happening? Like, why is this her character? Because she's a good wrestler. So why is this what she's doing? But I think that it might also be Zelina, just for the hell of it. So
The thing with Dewdrop is, if you think of it from a marketing standpoint, she how do you book the larger woman to be a face? And WWE doesn't know how.
They don't know.
Yeah, they only know how to book a heel. Like they did it with Nia Jax when they tried to turn her with the Alexa thing. And what was the whole thing? She's a big girl, therefore she's being bullied, therefore she's dealt with it all her life, therefore.
And she wasn't even really
someone who openly has an eating disorder.
Yeah,
yeah.
And she wasn't even really the face in that, as much as you were kind of like, oh, poor Nia. Like getting bullied by the mean girl, but also like you remembered that Nia's an asshole, so she wasn't even really the face in that situation. It was just that you liked her more than you liked Alexa. Like,
yeah.
And in this case, what do you do with Dewdrop? You can recycle the storyline and make her this like badass woman who is a bad person, or you can keep her good. But the only way Vince knows how to do that is, God damn it, let's make her a children's toy. Like it just doesn't work.
I hate this because I have wanted a Queen of the Ring tournament for so long, and it could have been so many people. Like, I wanted it to be a heel that won and be like evil queen. Like, it didn't need to be Charlotte, and I kept thinking they're just gonna do Charlotte. She's queen. Like.
Not for a second did I think that would happen. I'm sorry to step on.
I really thought that they would just do it just to give Charlotte another accolade. Like, here you go.
Sometimes things are too obvious.
But I wanted it to be Shayna. I didn't think it would be Shayna because that doesn't really fit Shayna. Like, if they're gonna go whole, you have to wear a crown. Do you see Shayna Baszler coming down to the ring with a crown?
I would love that.
I didn't
love it so much.
Oh, I think
what the hell is that? Like,
yeah, her immediately being like, no, not doing this. Like, just call me the Queen of Spades. Yeah, like, but I didn't see them doing that. But it could have been like Banks as the evil queen walking around all the time with a crown on and wanting people to praise her even more than she already does. And instead it's like we're at the point where we're like, okay, Dewdrop got merch after Don't start.
True. And again, it goes to show that when you look at how things are backstage, who's liked, who's getting praise, the King of the Ring historically was used as a tipping point for someone's career.
Yeah.
And God knows it hasn't been for the last like 6 years. But the point is, we talked about it, Tim and I talked about it. The last like good king was probably King Regal, King Booker, because it actually gave him another layer of character. Other than that, they gave it to Baron Corbin because literally Vince sat in the back and said, "Why have a Baron when you can have a king?" And that was it. And they're going to possibly do it again. Because why have a prince when you can have a king?
Don't.
I think So I'm a tournament mark in general. I've talked about that a little bit. Like I love tournaments. I'm a New Japan fan. Everything is a tournament in New Japan. I love tournaments because they're a reset button. They give you fresh matchups with no creative effort. You're all going after the same thing, and you can set up multiple storylines so easily. And they've done none of that because they've given it 13 minutes cumulative, which is just disheartening and upsetting on so many ways. They should have just given it to someone who really needs it. Give it to Liv Morgan. Give it to someone who this would actually do something for. I don't understand.
The problem is you give it to Liv Morgan. You know what she does with it? She feuds with Carmella again over being the prettiest queen versus the most beautiful woman in WWE.
This is my favorite lie in WWE is that Liv Morgan isn't hot. Are we?
I know.
Are we kidding?
I'm always like,
it's absurd.
I think that Carmella is beautiful, but so is like every other woman that they have. So I don't understand why they're always like, oh, well, Carmella is so much more beautiful than like, what?
Well, I've heard everybody say one positive thing about every single woman in WWE, something that they find attractive about them. That's television, man. Like, what do you expect?
With Carmella, I kind of get it because I feel like my favorite promo that she ever did was this kind of like, I'm the last diva thing. And that was great. Like, I liked that they had her lean into it because she kind of came in and has been that last one since Nikki left, I would say. So I really liked that. And I've said this before and I'll say it again and I stand by it. Saying I don't care if I win or lose because I'm hot and a universe where wins and losses don't matter is brilliant. I think she's a genius for this. Wins and losses mean nothing. So she's like, all right, well, I guess I'll stick to the fact that I'm hot. Good for Carmella.
She's like, you're not going to hit me in the face. I'm getting paid the same either way. Like,
I don't care. They don't care if I win or lose. Why should I give a crap? I don't care.
And if you want to be a genius, go ahead. Toss a thumbs up on the video. Leave a comment with us. This is a lot of fun. I appreciate it. We're still going to keep going. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we do this every Wednesday, every Sunday at noon Eastern. Let's move on. The King of the Ring final. We talked about it a little bit. Give me very quickly. Xavier Woods, Finn Balor. Cher, I know you're chomping at the bit to say it. Go ahead.
So this is a struggle for me because everyone knows how much I love Finn Balor. I mean, I had to block his wife on Twitter because people kept tagging her in my thirst tweets because they're psycho. Like, I mean, who would tag his wife in the thirst tweets? What's wrong with you people? But I love Finn. I love Woods. Like, two of my favorite people. Xavier Woods deserves this. All the things that he has done for this company, just like outside of wrestling. And he deserves this. This is all that the child has wanted. Like, he has wanted this his entire life. He's talked about this so many times. I hate that it's going to be there. And it's not somewhere like his sons can watch him win it. You know, like, that sucks. But I hope that it's him. And I don't have confidence that it will be. But we'll see. I think it'll be a really good match because they're two very talented wrestlers and they're about the same size and they don't put Woods in the ring very often with people that are his size. So I think that it's going to be really good. Finn's great in the ring. The fact that he's 40 years old just amazes. Yeah, he turned 40 last July. Yeah. He's 40 years old. Every time I say that, people are like, "There's no way he's 40." I'm like, "Yeah, he's
go to town and take a bus."
He is.
Every 10 years, he grows a new ab. Sorry, every 5 years, he grows
so much sense.
Yeah.
How is he like in better shape now than he was when he was like 22? Too. That's amazing to me.
Nutrition science has come a long way.
Yeah, and Woods has gotten great shape over like the last 2 years too. Not that he wasn't in good shape before, but like he's really toned himself up too. So I think that's going to be a really great match.
I'm with you.
Watch clips of it later.
For some reason, I think when it comes to the New Day, a lot of times they at least book the moments we want to see.
Mhm.
Like Big E's reign, they haven't done a lot with, but they booked the moment. Kofi Mania, they booked the moment. I think they'll book the moment, and I think they maybe are smart enough to realize, like, the King Xavier shirts and the things they could do with this on Up, Up, Down, Down, like the marketing machine that could get
Yes.
behind this. Is it gonna do what you want a King of the Ring to do and take them to the next level? Maybe not, but like this could be a huge thing for them. Where I think with Finn Balor, it could be cool, but like there's so much juice in
Yes.
giving this to Xavier for the company that this could be really great. So for those reasons, I have
agree.
faith that they might actually give it to us. So, and I think it'll be a great match, and it's something fresh and new and different that we haven't seen rematched to death before. So
And
I'm excited for this.
King Woods would be hilarious. Like
Oh, he'd be great.
He's
He'd be
so
great.
funny anyway, and I think that man will literally go everywhere wearing a crown. Like we are gonna see him on Up, Up, Down,
airports.
Down with a crown, airport, everywhere. Like
You're gonna go to an arcade in your local town, play
yes,
Street Fighter wearing a big ass crown.
yeah,
Yes.
like it's gonna be all the time, and it's gonna be hilarious. So yeah, I definitely think that he should, and I want him to win.
So going back to the Finn Balor Prince becomes a king. I'm still there. I agree. I share everything you said about winning it in your country, winning it where people are watching. I think that's a big deal to Woods. That's why I don't want him to win.
I just don't think that they'll do another one for like another 5 years.
I don't think so either.
I mean,
but here we are.
And he's probably going to be retired by then. So
here's the other side of it though. If you want to do a king and a queen, you don't necessarily want them both to be faces. I think this is maybe the start of a Balor heel turn if you're going to give Doudrop the queen crown. Because two faces doing that gimmick simultaneously, it feels a little weird to me. It feels like they're just backing themselves, readily so, backing themselves into a corner because it's WWE.
I was gonna say that's never stopped them from
That's
doing
pretty much par for the
anything.
course. Yes.
I just feel like if it's gonna be the start of a Finn Balor heel turn, like we're just so close to when he was the demon. And I know that doesn't make you a heel, but like, is that too much gimmicky stuff for Finn Balor in such a short time, especially the way that he lost? Like, that feels a little convoluted to me to give him this on top of, and maybe it was because the ending was so poorly done. Like, he kind of just came back as the demon, and now we're taking that away, giving him this. Like, it's a little much.
I think that they need to put Finn Balor with someone like Malcolm Bivens that can talk for him.
No, you know what you do with Finn? We went back to this earlier with Shayna Baszler as queen. You have Finn approach the podium, take the crown and the scepter and the cape, and just throw it on the ground, and then call himself king. And the king.
But the problem is he has no personality outside of that because they just treat him like the short little Irish guy who wears a leather jacket and likes to fight people, and like that's it. Like
so he's to call him Finley.
He smiles all the time, and that's it. Like they don't. He was good in NXT till he started talking about like kitty litter and got real weird with shit. But like, I don't know. It's so amazing to me that like Bullet Club Finn was so fantastic, and then now he's like, oh well, that guy's gonna have a good match. Like, like, how do you not know what to do with them? I don't understand. Yeah.
Let's move on because I think we've talked it through in so many ways. Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, the big face here is just Mustafa Ali donating his winnings or his earnings from this to a charity, which he does every single time he goes over to Saudi Arabia. Love it. Man deserves the world. Between the two of them, Mansoor, Mustafa Ali, Kate, who wins the match?
This is
why are you thinking about it?
It's gonna be Mansoor.
I'm overthinking this, right? Like, yeah. This is actually one of the stories I liked the most.
Yeah, I think it's been a good WWE story.
Programming, I've really liked it. It probably will be Mansoor, like based on A, where they are, and B, like he should. It makes sense. Okay, we've had time. He could have outgrown him by now. So let's book it that way. I just hope they have something for Ali to do. Because like he gave that promo about being the most underutilized guy on the roster. I'm like, kinda, yeah, he's up there. He's in the top 5.
Yeah.
It's every 6 months from Ali, that's what we get. And he's right.
Well, what they should have done that they didn't do was they should have done the Kofi took my spot while I was injured and have that get paid off. And they could still go back to that, I think. I don't think it's too late to do that. But he got shoot injured, Kofi filled in, and that's what led to Kofi Mania. If Kofi does get like a mid-card title and that dream lives out for me, where everyone in New Day has an individual thing to do, I hope they revisit that because that deserves the payoff that it
I agree,
because that could be really great.
I agree. I think it's going to be a really good match. I mean, they're two very talented wrestlers. I love Mustafa Ali. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's a great guy too. So when he posted, that he was donating and everything, like, makes me want him to win, but I know that he's probably not going to, because while we do not have hometown heroes win anywhere else, we do there. So I'm pretty sure that Mansoor is probably going to win, but it's going to be a good match.
Yep. Mansoor, king of the hometown heroes. Fine by me. You know what you do? You have Mansoor cheat to win. You have him put his feet on the ropes. You have him do something that's a little bit dastardly, but turn about being fair play. Mustafa Ali maybe tries to put his feet on the ropes. Whatever it is, it's going to be Mansoor counters something, and they do a turnabout as fair play finish because they're both going to be on SmackDown together. They're going to pair back up, and it's going to be, I see it now.
Are they both on SmackDown?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Like
I said, I don't know where anybody is.
I think it's going to be the story. I don't think they're splitting up as a tag team. I think they'll put them back together, and I think
probably. It's going to be like the bar.
Like I see it now.
Can they coexist?
It's going to be like the bar that they put together as a tag team just because they hated each other and then they became besties.
I think it'll just be the beginning of Mansoor's kind of turn to being a bad guy, or Mustafa Ali going back to being a good guy. I just think it's going to be a turn to put them both on the same side of the paper.
I like Mustafa Ali as like the grumpy old man though. Like
sure,
that's him. I really like it. Like, except he's like 10 years younger. Like,
but the point stands. The reason that you can still do it, and they're on separate brands. You can still play that out. Let's move along. The Hell in a Cell match: Edge, Seth Rollins. Whole lot of build, whole lot of talking. Cher, who the hell's gonna walk out of the big red cell?
I don't care. I mean, if we're being honest, I'm sick of this. We've had it. It happened. I've watched it. I watched Edge have the coolest entrance I have ever seen at SummerSlam. And we were watching them build it. And I'm like, what's happening? What are they doing? Like, it looked like a ramp. And we thought he was going to like ride in on something. We didn't know what was happening. I don't really care. I think that Edge will probably win. Honestly, I feel like these shows, it's like whoever the prince or whatever over there wants to win, who wins. And considering he wanted them to get like Yokozuna for the show, I'm pretty sure he probably knows Edge more than he knows Seth Rollins. So I'm just gonna go with Edge. Like I said, it's a good match. They always have good matches together. They're very talented, but I'm over it. It's fun having these matches. So
maybe Seth has ingratiated himself to the Saudi prince. Now he knows who he is.
Oh God.
Kate, who wins the match?
Maybe booking would be better if he was in charge of it all. Who knows? I'll say Edge here. I think Edge has something to gain by winning, and Seth loses absolutely nothing by losing here. Yeah. I think that's fine, and then Seth can go on to something else. My thought is that Seth wins Rumble and dethrones Roman at Mania in a like we were brothers type thing. So I think maybe that's where Seth goes after this, is to something that's going to turn him face and set that up. And I know there are separate brands, but you can challenge for whichever title when you win Rumble. So that's my thought.
Who did Seth lose the Universal title to in Saudi?
The Fiend.
Oh yeah,
Halloween.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I watched it at work. By the way, I'm going to throw one kink in the armor here. There is a Crown Jewel kickoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern, and they're going to do the Usos versus
I saw that.
Cedric Alexander and Shelty B.
At 10 a.m.?
At 10 a.m. for you, at 11 a.m. for me. So between the two, I don't think it's for the tag titles, though, is it? It's not.
I don't think so.
It's not. So this match is pretty much
They aren't even on the
meaningless.
same show, are they?
They're not on the same brand.
Okay.
So it's a meaningless opening match.
It'll be a good match, I'm sure.
Yes.
I mean,
If I was tuning in to the NLCS and just like sometimes the Braves were fighting each other instead.
The timing is more.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes Jack Peterson
Yes!
and Darno are just like but
Jiminy-
sometimes.
Jiminica, you are correct. The timing for Jiminica, that means it starts at 8 a.m. in California. I'm gonna get up and watch freaking Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin against the Usos at 8 a.m.
And there are streamers like Steven Larson who are also West Coasters. They're going to live stream the show. Like they're going to watch the show. I think they're doing a 24-hour sub stream too. Holy crap.
Holy cannoli.
Whoa.
Good on them. Anyway, yeah, it's 8 a.m. for Mod Dan too. Holy crap.
Nah.
Anyway, that's happening. No holds barred match. There's going to be murder on the docket. Bobby Lashley. And
There's already murder on the
Goldberg.
docket.
I love that stupid ass promo. We're going long today. Sorry, folks.
I'm sorry,
Um,
I don't listen to Goldberg when he talks, so
No.
I don't know what he says other than he did a promo with his naked teenage son, a picture of him as a baby behind him that really bothered me. Which I had a conversation with Drew Nicholas about, and I said, like, that's a normal thing as a parent to get like the newborn pictures where your baby's naked and stuff, but like I would not have mine behind me. I've got a picture of my kids up there. They're dressed. Yeah, I would not have mine behind me on nationwide television when they're now like 17. I know that kid had to be like, what the fuck? Like, so that was probably the most sticking thing in my memory from that entire thing. But Goldberg just wants to be Arn Anderson, and I don't know what else to say other than that. He just wants to kill people like Arn, and I mean. Didn't he almost kill Undertaker last time they were in Saudi? So
he dropped him on his head.
He may do it. We may see that.
I want Bret
ahead,
Hart to fly to Saudi Arabia.
No, don't do that to Bret.
No. To cut a promo and just be like, of all the legends you've brought over here, I'm the most legendary. Also, Goldberg ended my career because he still buries him in interviews, and I love it.
I
love it so much.
Like, they'll ask him a question and be like, "Who is your favorite opponent?" And he'll be like, "Well, I know who my least favorite was."
Or they'll be like, "Bret, what's the weather?" And today, and he'll be like, I hate Goldberg.
I want to say I haven't read Shawn Michaels. He has a couple books, but I think it's Heartbreak and Triumph. I haven't read it in a long time. It's on my bookshelf, so I'll have to look. But I'm pretty sure in it, he says like the most unprofessional, unsafe wrestler he ever worked with was Goldberg too.
Oh my god!
So like, I will have to look because I remember him talking about like just being like. Sean's a small guy, like being scared being in the ring with him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll have to look that up.
So unfortunately, we're all in agreement that Goldberg wins.
Yeah.
Now, here's the funny thing about
I don't even want
match.
to say it.
That kickoff match that I brought up for a reason, because Shelty B and Cedric Alexander probably going to get involved in that match and probably going to get squashed during it. I'm sorry.
Probably by Goldberg's son, if we're being honest.
So I want people, if they have the time. Okay.
Why would you say that out loud?
It's true. I've been saying this since the get-go. People need to be combing socials, because I guarantee you there is video on someone's Instagram live of like Goldberg and his son in Saudi Arabia. It's there. It's gonna get found.
And of all the people in WWE, the only person that would willingly take their child to Saudi Arabia is Goldberg. So
100%. 100%. Hey son, you want to see a cool country? Meanwhile,
let's go Sunberg.
They are Jews. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Sunberg.
Yes, Sunberg.
Sunberg.
They're Jewish?
Yeah.
I did not realize they were Jewish.
Yeah, they're Goldberg.
Okay, I know people that's last name is Goldberg and they're not Jewish though. But
then they're lying to you.
They're agnostic, so that may be why they're not Jewish.
Culturally, they're Jewish. Anyway. No, that's what's going to happen. I think
Oh my
Sunberg is
God.
absolutely coming out. I think Sunberg is absolutely going to be in Saudi Arabia. And like I said, comb your socials. I guarantee you'll see video between now and Thursday.
I'm about to find out.
For the Raw Tag Team Championship, yeah, you can go find out. The Raw Tag Team titles are on the line. AJ Styles and Omos take on the champions, Randy Orton and Riddle. Give me a quick who's going to win it, Kate.
I think our Crate Bro might win.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to
Who
go
is
with
it?
him.
They're going
Raw
against
Tag.
AJ?
Yeah, for like the
Yeah,
50th
I
time.
think RK Bro wins.
Oh, okay. I will agree. I'm going to say RK Bro wins. The only reason that they would change it is because Omos is huge, and then they can have AJ and Omos versus Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz for Battle of the Big Men. Let's move on. The triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championships: Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. Who the hell's going to win this match, Cher?
I don't know.
The fans.
No.
Probably not.
I mean, first off, I guess good for them that they're having 2 women's matches on the show this time.
Yes.
But also, I hope that it's cooled down a little bit there, because I know last time it was like 130 degrees and they were all like having heat strokes, and those women have to be completely covered, like long sleeves, long pants, like that. It's hot out there when you're not completely covered. So I, as someone who actually overheats, I would die in the middle of the ring. So I hope that they are all hydrated and safe, especially Becky, who is breastfeeding, and that could go very badly for her. Becky's probably going to win. I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of uninterested in this story at this point. And I hate that because I love women's wrestling, but I don't know. I'd say that Becky will probably win.
I'm gonna go Bianca because she's going to Raw, right?
Yeah, her and Becky both.
So you got to have someone who you can. Is all of this just to make Becky Raw Women's Champion again?
I don't know. Becky's on Raw. Bianca's on Raw. Sasha will be on SmackDown with Charlotte.
I'm gonna say Bianca. Charlotte and Bianca do some awful title switch thing that keeps that feud going, maybe until Mania or something. And maybe they've picked up on the fact that the Becky Lynch heel experience isn't working, and when she goes to Raw, they have an opportunity to turn her face because it's a reset of some sort anyway. So I'm gonna say Bianca, and then those events unfold.
Fine by me. I think let's just go with Becky. I don't know.
I'm sure it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I can hope so. I mean, listen, the funniest garbage take I read over the last few weeks was how Charlotte was wearing cat suits for weeks on Raw, and people were like, "Oh, she's just getting comfortable for when she's got to wear it in Saudi." And I'm like, "Where is she on the card then, pal?"
Dirt.
Yeah.
WWE Championship. Big D takes on Big E. I don't care. Big E's going to win this match.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Let's move along. For the Universal Championship match, this is the match that people want to talk about because it does have some interest. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman. Which side is he on? Which pole does he climb? Where are we? And Cher, tell me who wins between Brock and Roman?
I win because I'm going to get a Paul Heyman on a pole match.
WrestleMania main event.
No, Roman's going to win. I don't think it's time to have Roman lose. If he loses to Brock, then it's the same trope that we had for years of Brock just squashing. And I don't think Brock's going to be around full time. He's been around quite a bit over the past few months, which was surprising. But
thanks, CM Punk.
Yeah.
Bunny.
Yeah.
Bunny wins.
I don't know how much they have paid him for all these appearances, but probably gonna fire some more people now.
Listen, hold on. We got to remember, winter is coming, and Saskatchewan gets hit hard, so he is just stockpiling for the winter time.
Doesn't he have another house in the U.S. though?
He's probably got 7. I found out this week that Renee and Mox had 2 in Vegas that they sold, so here we are.
Yeah, but no, I'm pretty sure that he has maybe Wyoming I don't know.
Farmland.
He's got like another farm here too. So I don't know, Minnesota. Maybe I'll see him next month. Yeah, maybe I can hang out with Brock. I don't know. I think Roman's winning it though. I think that they have done this match too quickly. Not like, I mean, like, it's been set up for a while, but I think that they shouldn't have done it so quickly. And I know Roman's been champion for a long time, but with like the Paul thing, they could have dragged that on a little bit, because why was that like not mentioned for a year and then all of a sudden it's a thing? So I don't know. I like this. I don't want the Paul being scared shitless thing to go away. I love it. It's so funny.
Oh, so good.
Him being like, you are my tribal chief. Like, he has been so great in this role. He's so funny. I love it. This is one of my favorite storylines that they're doing or have done in a long time. But where will Brock go from here? Away? Is he going to disappear again? He said he's a free agent, and he did make that perfectly clear. So I don't want to see him show up on Raw though and beat Big E.
So Big E at Survivor Series.
So don't need to see that. But they don't really have any big names anymore that he hasn't already fought 87 times. So
you could reignite Drew and Brock if you wanted, I think.
Yeah, probably.
That was, especially with fans, I don't think that would be the worst next move. I'm with you. I think Roman is going to retain here. I can't see him dropping the belt before Mania realistically. And this is such a weird time of year because we have Survivor Series and then it just like slides into the holidays and it like kind of doesn't really pick back up again until Rumble. So I don't think you want to have such a hot title change hands right now. I don't think that makes sense. And this run for Roman feels like this title drop is going to mean a lot when he does. And Brock is beyond made, right? So I think hopefully this goes to a talent that they're going to establish with it. Or I think it would be cool I said Rollins, I think that would be a great story. You could have just one Uso turn and take the title and see what happens there. Like, there's so many intricacies to this story. Or, you know, that guy hasn't been built up yet. Hopefully it's Tony D'Angelo from NXT.
There you go.
Hey.
I have an update. I said, I am convinced Sunberg is in Saudi with you. And I have not seen Berg him.
Wonderful. Oh, that's good stuff. I do want to shout out Drew saying, I wonder if Brock dethrones E so that E can win the Rumble and dethrone Roman. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but I don't see it happening.
Me neither. That is Crown
That
Jewel.
would be really good, though.
That's on Thursday. We are not doing a watch along because I ain't sitting on a camera watching that at noon.
10 a.m.
For you? Sure. No, not happening.
No way.
No, thank you. We'll be back eventually.
She'll be on a cruise.
He'll be busy.
I'll be drinking my water.
Jericho. By the way, Kate, you have to hang out with Luther while you're on the cruise.
Luther is the best. He is the best. He's so nice.
Can you bring? Sorry,
fantastic.
Bring your Jeremy sucks at marbles t-shirt and tell him.
Oh my gosh,
it's Jeremy Lambert.
Yep.
Okay,
now I don't even care about that. I just want to wear my Jeremy Sucks marbles the entire cruise so that everybody asks me about it and I get to tell everyone why.
He's great. As soon as you tell him that you're friends with Jeremy, like, he will just be your best friend.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Be nice.
And I bought Jeremy a birthday cameo from Luther, so hopefully I'll be wonderful. Like, I already put money in this now.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, remember me? Cameo order is 05872.
Well, what was great was in the cameo, he had said, like, he was like, I already wished you a happy birthday, Jeremy, but someone paid me to do it again.
Someone paid me to do it again.
Very nicely said that, but was just like, I already knew it was your birthday. I got you. Yeah. Like, this isn't as manufactured as a lot of the other ones. It was really, really sweet. What a guy.
Yes.
What a guy.
Like Mod Mike was saying, join the Discord that we have. It's free. It's in the video description. If you really want to discuss the show or all the shows, that's where we hang out. We discuss it there on our Discord channel. There's an Impact show. We've been so long. We're not going to run down the card. Very excited for it. We're going to talk about it on Sunday at noon Eastern instead, because everyone's got stuff to do for the rest of their day. And then there's all the AEW stuff. And Kate, I'm sorry, I'm going to completely not let you talk about AEW stuff because you got stuff to do.
That is okay. I'm fine with that.
All right, well then fine. We'll talk about AEW also on Sunday at noon Eastern, because this was a heavy show. Cher, Kate, thank you so much for hanging out today. I really appreciate you both jumping on. Kate, tell everyone where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me at Kate on Deck IC on Twitter. You can catch me on Fightful YouTube every Tuesday doing Sour Graps after NXT, and every Friday with Sean doing the Rampage and Smackdown post show, and the Mark Order Pod on Wednesday nights. We have a lot of fun over there. We talk everything all elite. So I talk a lot about wrestling. Follow me.
I know the feeling. Cher Delaware, tell them where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me at Share Delaware. I don't really do anything. I make a lot of funny thirst tweets. Please don't take me seriously. I just do them to pop myself.
Please take them extremely seriously.
Please don't tag the people that I'm talking about. Please
tag
don't
their partners.
Please don't tag their wives. I
have been a menace.
Yes.
On Cher's timeline. It's my favorite thing I do on Twitter is just go in and make it so much worse for you. It's great. Not by tagging people, not like shoot worse.
Yeah.
I just level it up.
I had my tweet about Patrick Starr gargling before he went out Monday, and lots of people commented on it, and Sean commented on it, which is like my least favorite thing in the world, because everyone comes around and these people were like, this is just basic Twitter, like making fun of me, and I'm like, little do you know, like, we are laughing about this right now. Like, so yeah, don't be a dork in my replies, but yeah, come hang out. I hate baseball right now, so I'm not tweeting about baseball.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know that baseball exists. I'm a hockey fan. I can't even like hockey right now because my Ducks lost last night. So here we are. For Tim, by the way, Tim, congratulations once again. His wife gave birth to a baby boy yesterday in the evening. Everyone is helping.
Wait, yesterday? What a slacker. Why isn't he here today?
That's what I said. Thank you.
Lazy.
Completely kidding. Congratulations. That's amazing. Yay.
I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. I'm not a hard person to find. TimandJoelPod.com. That's where you can find everything that we do here. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. We'll be back Sunday, noon Eastern. I don't know if it'll be Tim and me. It might be someone else. It might be Cher. It won't be Kate because she'll be on a cruise. I don't know who it'll be, but we'd love to see you. We'd love to hang out with you. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you on Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day.